What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Verse Crypto channel, the most savage and degenerate crypto channel out there. My name's Khaos Kris, and I'll be your host today. Before I this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so I keep you guys up to date with the latest, greatest news and information within this space. With that being said, let's hop right in this video. Today, we are talking about a special altcoin. This altcoin has deemed by many people to be the champion of this bull run. Will it do 100x? Will it do 1,000x? Will it do a 10,000x, blow past the moon, and go to planet X with the Anunnaki? The name of that coin is titanX, and we're going to go all things titanX today, baby. Dude, guys, I'm so hyped, man. After looking at this token and seeing how the community grew and just absolutely exploded, it's going to be a really awesome live stream to get into it. So today, before I get all excited, jumping and start saying stuff, acting like I'm like the little baby version of B-Roots, today, we're going to jump into a little bit about titanX, talk about some things I'm seeing. We're going to go through some key data metrics that was actually created on Dune Analytics. And we're also going to look at how the hyper launch is going to impact titanX so that you can plan out miners into the future. In addition, if you got questions, anything you want to ask, this is also going to be partially an AMA. So if there's something you're confused about or there's something you need me to clarify, drop it down into the chat below. So before we hop into the meat and the cheese and we see what's going on in the market, I think I saw some juicy questions. Well, not questions, but comments. But dang, you guys, there's a lot of you guys in here already. This is pretty awesome. Now, taking a look, RayOX, shout out. Oh yes, my favorite topic of the day, titanX. Let's freaking go. Shout out to Shibrizi, Bearson, Pulsechain. titanX is the coin of the bull run. Couldn't agree more. Zachariah, titanX, mine your coins until bull top of the cycle. Absolutely, delay your mines for insane rewards. Definitely a really great point. You know, when it comes to titanX, it's all about mining, and that's where you're going to get the most out of your token. I mean, excuse me, that's where you're going to get the most value out of the ecosystem. Holding a liquid bag might not be a bad play. Staking it, unless you're a big whale, I probably would stay away from, so I definitely do agree. Ryan Torres, if Hex can do 10,000x, titanX is 10,000x better than Hex. Oh, dang. Those are some fighting words there, but yeah, man. I definitely do agree. I think titanX does have potential just like Hex, so good to see you, Ryan. Damien, my brother, what is up? Damien's in the chat. It's always good to see Damien, man. It's been a minute, man. Hope you're doing well, dude. Rasa, let's see what titanX do in the next few weeks. I hope they can maintain. Very good point. Wake Dog, enough with the 10,000x estimates. Hex did it, but it is super rare and unlikely. 10x is more likely. Well, Wake Dog, we're actually going to talk about how that could be possible, and I'll leave you with this one key piece of information. It's not necessarily going to be on the price. Well, the price performance is one metric you got to look at, but also you got to look at your titanX miners. So stay tuned because I'm going to break that down so you can understand what I'm seeing. Darko, let's go, Titan Brothers. Good to see you, man. All the way in you. Always good to see you, man. Oh boy, I'm glad to be here, folks. I hope more people will take titanX and run with the building. Definitely agree. Trainer Chapo, I guess that's like a fish or something. Jamie X, what's up, brother? Good to see you, and also good to see Trainer Chapo, and then AJ, who's in the house, titanX gang. Cool, good stuff. All right, well, let's just get into the main stuff. I'll read some more comments in a second because I know there's a bunch of guys putting out comments. Now, let's just take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin right now. As most of you guys know, we just hit that 42K mark, and I've been drawing out some of these, well, they're not necessarily support lines, but essentially when you look at these little mini tops, the thing that you're going to, ooh, missed one right there. That was my bad. So basically, I'm going to put this right here. Now, looking at all these little, you know, lines coming out, there's like these tops. And the idea behind these tops is as the price gets close to it, people who bought right here and then it just sold off, typically will take a profit. So typically, once it hits one of these lines, it'll bounce down. But that's not always the case. That's something we've seen right here. Now, right now, the speculation is, how's the price going to perform? In my opinion, I think it's going to go up to about 48K and then bounce down, and then shoot back up where we start to test all-time highs. Some people believe that it's going to go from 42 and then back down to 35. I've even seen someone say 17, which I don't think that's going to be possible at this point. I think the bottom's in. unless we get into like some crazy nuclear war, I don't see that coming to fruition. So overall, the thing I'm looking at right now is, will we continue to climb up, or will we start to trace sideways, or will we start to get some sort of price adjustment? But I'm pretty keen on it going up to 48K and then bouncing down. But I could be wrong. I'm still learning this stuff. You know, I'm just trying to grow up and be like Axis Live. Now, going to the top 100, seeing what's popping off. Yo, I'm gonna tell you right now, BRC20s, you do not want to fade this coin. I'm kicking myself right now because I was actually going to get in right around here, and this thing's at $32. That's like a 10x off your money right off the bat, and it's at it's at a $1 billion market cap. Oh my gosh. So getting into BRC20s, the one thing I will say is there's a few dexes launching, and so if you can find a BRC20 dex, that's where you're going to get a lot of value. And I did find one project that is launching in dex within the BRC20 ecosystem, and I do think this could potentially be like a pancake swap and a Uniswap. I'll save it for another live stream. But like I said, Ordinals is absolutely ripping. Do not fade this I'll call it industry. Do not fade that industry and just keep it moving. Next thing, Kaspa. Everyone's blowing up about Kaspa. I mean, this thing's just been ripping since 2022. All it's been doing going up and to the right. The narrative behind Kaspa is that basically it is like a Bitcoin but updated. And so it's basically a Bitcoin with smart contracts. I think they're also going to be adding DAG technology behind it as well. So essentially everything in Kaspa is just an improvement on Bitcoin. The other one that I really do like that follows the same narrative as Kaspa is Lithium as well. So good stuff to see there. Let's see if we got anything moving up in the top 200. Bonk, that's that meme coin on Solana. Solana's doing really well. Anyone who said that Solana was done for, I mean, come on, man. You guys kind of missed the ball there. Next thing, Pulse. Pulse is down. Now, before we get into titanX, believe it or not, most people in titanX are in Pulse. So the one thing I want to say is, you know, there's always going to be there's always going to be FUD behind new projects coming out. And right now, Pulse isn't doing too well because of the stuff happening with Richard Heart. And in my opinion, there's going to be a time for Pulsechain to run. It might not be this month, or maybe it could be. But in my opinion, as we get closer to the Bitcoin halving, that's when we're going to start to see the Pulsechain ecosystem explosion. And a lot of people are bridging their assets to, you know, Ethereum, Solana, and they're trying to catch some quick gains. And they're moving out of the Pulsechain ecosystem, which I completely understand. I think that's going to be a really big regret for whoever's doing that. But please, Pulsechain and PulseX, and even Hex, those are three projects you do not want to fade. I know I love titanX. I'm like a borderline titanX maxi at this point. Now, let's get into everybody's favorite project. So this is probably what you guys came on this live stream to listen to me talk about and ramble for 45 minutes. Keep in mind, I am a professional idiot. I just like to play with cryptocurrencies and go out and surf all day. So this is basically all I do all day. And I also work a little bit. Now, last time we talked, titanX was sitting right around here. And so this is on the log scale. If you guys want to be a troll, be like, all right, Kris, you can't do it on the log scale. Well, if you put it on the log scale, the price appreciation behind this token makes more sense. And the same thing with Hex and a lot of other charts. Now, since we hit that bottom, we're sitting at about a 5x right now. So we're starting to see appreciation. And the reason why this was a very key metric and a key event is because everyone thought this was just going to go basically, it was going to start off here and then basically just keep on going all the way down. And then as it starts to go all the way down, there's going to come a point where it becomes deflationary, and then it's going to just shoot up like that. Just basically like what we're supposed to see with Zen. But here's the thing. The buy and burn contract has been stabilizing the price of titanX. So right now, we're basically seeing it slowly trade sideways and go slowly up and to the right. And this is absolutely huge because now we're starting to see, as more tokens being inflated off to the market, they're being burnt through the buy and burn contract, and they're also getting burnt through the Uniswap V3 liquidity pools. And we got two big events coming up with titanX. Number one is going to be the hyper event, which we're going to get into a little bit in a minute. And the other thing is projects launching on top of titanX. If you go into the project developers Telegram, I'm seeing ideas about launching games, decentralized exchanges, new utilities. There's a group of developers in that chat that have interest to build on top of titanX so that they can get that 8% rewards payout through the burn pool when you basically create a miner. So we got a lot of really great bullish things behind titanX coming right down the road. The main one's going to be Hyper, and then the second event is going to be everything else that launches on top of titanX, which is going to really help out the case as well. Now, let's see. I think my OBS is not working right now. Can you guys still see me? Let's see. Can you guys still see me? I think my OBS just shut down. So, cool. All right. Well, I'm going to keep it going. I don't know why this thing's not working. Now, let's just go into some things that I wanted to talk about today. Now, I got my little bag of tricks right here, my little notebook. Now, starting off, we can get into the buy and burn contract. So, if I come over here to, let's see. Right here. Now, originally when the buy and burn started, we have V1 and then V2. So with V1, the idea was we were under the impression that automatically right off the bat, Ethereum was going to be taken, used to buy up titanX, and then just burn it straight off of the market. Now, over time, what Jake decided to do was he took the V1 and then did basically control burn, where I think it was like about 80 Ethereum every day that was being used to burn some of the titanX. And then over time, he set up the V1 and the V2. So the V1 is kind of like an angel buy and burn contract where it slowly just buys the tokens periodically so that it can stabilize the price. And then V2, it's basically straight in, straight out, just constantly keep on buying titanX off of the market. So this is going to be a little bit faster. And then the slow release is going to be throughout the entire project contract life. And I know people, what they're trying to do is find a way to figure out when the version 1 kicks in, and I haven't seen anyone really do anything about it, so that's pretty cool. And then V2 is just constantly doing its thing, so good stuff. Now, getting into do analytics, this is where things are going to get really, really interesting. So there's a guy named Mike Dean, and so what Mike Dean was doing, hold on one second, let's see. Cool. All right, so we're good. Sorry, I'm just double checking. My OBS is just acting weird right now. So basically what Mike Dean did was he started to do a tracker talking about the amount of ETH that's being spent by miners every single day. So the total ETH costs that were basically input into the contract, we had 2,330, and then we have 3,641, and then went down to 890, and now we're sitting at about 118, 93, 54, 98, and 262. So over time, like at the beginning, we had a bunch of this ETH go straight into the buy and burn, which is awesome. And then we had the buy and burn version 1, version 2. Now, from day 4 up until day 21, it was like a desert. Not that much Ethereum was going in, which is absolutely crazy. Well, it's not crazy, but people were very unsure about this project. And then this is where me, Adam from Viber Finance, and a couple YouTubers kept talking about it. And then that's when we got hit with the max wave of FUD. Next thing you know, we get to about day 21, and we start seeing a little bit more of an uptick and an uptick and an uptick. And now this past weekend, we saw titanX do absolute insane numbers that no one could wrap their head around. And so essentially over the weekend, we had over 986 ETH and then 1,401 ETH that was just like added to the amount of ETH that was used to start miners. And so that's just stacking up, building up into that buy and burn contract and pushing it up. So if you guys take the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, that essentially is going to, if you add all those numbers up, that's going to be more than the first 2 days. So you can already see adoption rolling in. You're seeing people get excited. And when it comes to looking at titanX, I understand that most of you guys want to sit here and just look at the price chart, which I completely get. But the main thing you need to be looking at is the total ETH that's going to be used to create miners. Because titanX, believe it or not, where you're going to get your 100 to 500x isn't necessarily going to be revolved around the price appreciation. The first thing it's going to be is, number one, this buy and burn contract and how much ETH goes into this miners has paid out to stakers and to also buying and burning the token. And then also number two, it's going to be to your miner ROI. So if I come over here to the titanX miner, and let's say, actually, I'm going to do the calculator. This is going to be easier. So let's say I want to do one miner at max power. So essentially, if you were to do that, you're going to be starting off with about 0.206 ETH. So that's about $462. And then you have the market value at the end of this miner is going to be about 17,648. And your estimated ROI is going to be sitting at about 3,718. So the main point I'm trying to get across is right there's a 37x. Now, if we look at the overall price performance, and if we can maintain this price level coming across, essentially, if you start a miner and at the end of 280 days, you are going to get a 37x, right? So 37x right off your money if it just maintains the price as is. If titanX were to hit a 10x, that would mean you would essentially be getting a 370x off your money. So if the price of this token goes up by 10x, so it basically deletes a zero, and so it's 0.0001, and you come back here, you're going to hit a 370x off of your miner if the buy and burn can stabilize that price. Now, if you want to get extremely bullish and be like, okay, you know what, Chris? We're going to go for all, baby. We're going to go for 100th of a penny titanX. So that is 100x from at the time of this recording. That would mean your miner ROI would be 3,700x off of your miner. So what was the point of me talking about, you know, the amount of ETH being used to mine titanX? The main point I'm trying to get across is people are thinking that you're going to see the price of the titanX chart just go up by 10,000x or whatever in a year. Now, I don't think that might necessarily be practical because what I think would most likely happen is we see the price go up maybe anywhere between 100 to 500x, and then anyone who has a miner being minted out to the future, the buy and burn contract will kick in, stabilize the price, and then you guys can easily get in and get out, and that's how you're going to see anywhere from maybe a 1,000 to a 10,000x. That's just what I'm seeing. I could be very well wrong. There's a lot of other factors that could come into play into this equation. Now, coming back over here to Dune Analytics, taking a look at the minted tokens by day. So overall, we haven't seen too many tokens being minted recently. We had a big mint on 11/24, and I think that might have been in anticipation for Hyper. But right now, we're slowly see a steady decline. If you guys come back and you do the math on the short-term miners, basically up until 7 days, it's not profitable. So if you do less than 7 days, you're not going to make a profit off of titanX. So not many people are going to be doing short-term miners. In addition, if this thing were to go up again and go up another 10x, I guarantee you people are going to be short-term mining out the wazoo. Now, the other thing I wanted to look at, let's go down. titanX future supply in the next 14 days, 30 days. All right, so let's look at the next 30 days. Now, from what we were seeing originally, a lot of people were expecting the hyper launch to happen right here on December 28th. So that's why we're having about 178 billion being minted out into the future. And then right around the 1st of 2024, I think a lot of people are speculating something big is going to happen. So we're actually seeing about 348 billion titanX being minted out into the future. Now, for the short term, I don't see much inflation hitting on titanX. So probably maybe in the next 2 weeks, we're probably going to see some pretty cool price performance overall with the token. Now, as we continue to go out into the future, and once we get towards the end of December, we're going to have a really large amount of inflation coming in. So one thing that I'm predicting that's going to happen is between now and up to about December 20th, so 5 days before Christmas, we're going to see some pretty awesome price action. Not a lot of supplies coming out. Short-term miners aren't profitable. And then when that happens, that's when we're going to start to see more people come in and start minting more miners. Because if I go up here to the top, we're starting to see a slow increase in the amount of Ethereum going into that buy and burn and the staking pools. So once that starts kicking in, we're going to get more and more ETH coming out. And as the supply continues to increase, I personally think through that buy and burn contract and the price appreciation, we'll start to see coverage from all the inflation coming out into the future. Now, moving down, the one thing that we need to talk about, and this is the big thing. I'll absolutely love this titanX. Oh yeah, by the way, shout out to Mike Dean. So if you guys don't know Mike Dean, go on his Twitter. Really great dude. He's the one who came up with this Do Analytics dashboard. So hold on, let me go back down real quick. Cool. So right here for the titanX future supply and onwards, if we get out to about August 3rd, 2024, this is when right here, this is basically when all the day 1 and day 2 miners are going to be coming out. And that's when we're going to see a massive supply being printed into the future. So this is a date that everyone needs to keep your eye on. And so in my opinion, what I think Jake is doing is sometime between now and probably up until the earliest, probably February, he's going to get Hyper launched, and then Hyper's going to come in and try to stabilize this massive amount of inflation that's going to hit in August. Because I'm telling you right now, August of 2024, that's going to be one of the biggest dates in titanX history when we have that many tokens out into the market. And the real question is, how will the price perform when that amount of tokens are out there? And where will the price of the token be sitting at up until that mass inflation event starts to happen? So we got a lot of big questions coming in, and I'm going to really break down how Hyper is performing. So really, really good stuff. Here, let me see if I can take a look at this. See, cool. All right, here guys, I'm gonna log in and log right back out. My OBS is not working, so just stay on the live stream. I'm gonna log right back in real quick. I don't know why OBS just refuses to not work. All right, let's see. All right, hopefully this works now. Can you guys tell me, is it working now? Because I'm not sure if I'm still in here. Anybody? Check, 1, 2. Check. Let's see. Cool. All right, cool. All right, cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know why the internet's just being terrible right now. All right, cool. So, let's see. Let's take a look at some questions. So I definitely want to ask some questions real quick, just so that we're all on the same page. So, dang, dude, I don't know what's going on with my internet today. All right. Cool. So first question, Jamie X, let's get it. Cool. Chipper Z, what it do, baby? Good to see you, man. Duke of Booze, cheers, everyone. Mr. Chuck, is batch mining and batch mining claiming the same gas fee no matter the amount to miners? Yes, I think that's how it's set up. So you can, if you do them all together, then you can claim them all together. That's how Jake originally set it up. So yes, that's the point, so that you can also save money on gas as well. Crypto Monster, good to see you. Martin G, drama in your bedroom. I got you. Zaxpa Varga, yo, Bass Sports, here he is. titanX is a beast. Yeah, shout out to you, Bass Sports. Wake Dog, nah, I ain't buying Hyper. I don't play within games. Well, so Wake Dog, there's nothing wrong. I didn't say buy Hyper. I was saying that Hyper is going to support the ecosystem. So I'm not saying jump into it. If you're just keen on minting titanX, that is completely fine. Or mining titanX, I'm sorry. I keep saying that. So cool. Be Mindful Love, shout out to you. It's good to see you. Hey, love, much loves. Corey Investor, hey, I liked your last explainer on titanX, but this monster's just being born. I'm also Hexagon. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being a titanX and a Hexagon at the same time. Say, hey, Chris, I'm not late today. Let's go. Good to see you. Bass Sports, titanX is everything Arch wanted from Hex. I mean, here's the thing about titanX and Hex. They're basically they're similar, but they're their own thing, and they're very similar protocols, but they're also extremely different. You know, titanX does the the fair launch process. Hex really got into, the blockchain certificate deposit. So in my opinion, they're both monsters, and everyone should definitely get into it. So I absolutely love both the projects. all the way in you. The versus lice, baby. I love it. Taylor, love your streams. Keep up the good work. Good to see you, brother. Corey, an investor. Hex was the beginning. titanX has used the game theory of using ETH divs, which is bringing more attention to it. Bravo. Yeah, you know, Jay created a phenomenal protocol. Seeing how it came across was awesome. Vibra, titanX is going to the firmament. Let's go. Crypto GRFX, good to see you, man. Yeah, shout out to Crypto GRFX. I think he's going to be doing a master class on titanX. So if you guys want more information, go check him out, man. He's really cool. Wake Dog, pretty sad. Luna and Luna Classic scam coins still pumping. Just part of the game. Cool. G, what's up, my man? It's good to see you. Jamie X, titanX and Hyper. Margaritas and Porco's retirement of titanX. Cool. All right, cool. All right, now let's get into Hyper. So before my OBS decided to go absolutely crazy, I'm sorry about that, guys. Now we're back in rolling. We need to get back into this little day with this titanX, this little inflation candle. Now, this is where Hyper is going to come in, and the best way to really explain this, it's going to be based off of liquidity pools that we saw with PDI and atropa. And if you guys know me, I always love to get into PDI and atropa. And so basically, this is one thing I learned when it came to like the whole pegging movement. Jake took the idea with PDI and atropa and basically made it better, but he's adding it to titanX. Now, the best way to think about Hyper, and so I'm going to do a little picture right here. We'll just call it Hyper right across the bat, Hyper. Now, we're going to have an LP. So this first LP is going to be titanX, so TITX. And then this is basically going to be paired up with Ethereum, ETH. And so essentially how these LPs work, you have like $1 of titanX will equal $1 of Ethereum based off the token supply. Now, keep in mind, we're in version 3, and so version 3 is a little bit different with Uniswap, but this is just a rule of thumb. This is how the LPs typically balance. Version 3, I think you can do like a fraction of like titanX and Ethereum, but since you guys are relatively new to liquidity pools, we're not going to get into that because it's going to get really, really complicated. Now, what Hyper is going to do is it's going to take in this titanX token right here. So I'm going to do this red. And essentially, there's going to be some special utility. There's going to be staking. And it's going to create a pairing between titanX and then Hyper. And this is the key to understanding this inflation event, which we're going to get into a little bit. And so how Hyper is going to perform is we're probably going to have somewhere around like 10 million in this pool right here. So this is going to be 10 mil. And there's a good chance that the titanX and Hyper pool is going to be somewhere right around 5 million or something. So that's like the overall value of the LP when I put out the 5 million right here and then the 10 million right here. And the other way to really think about it is if I come over here to titanX, and you look on Dex Screener, you'll see the liquidity right here. That's what I'm talking about in this explanation. Now, basically, what's going to happen when Hyper launches, the only way you can buy Hyper is either use the DApp or you have to go to ETH first, and then from ETH go to titanX, and then from titanX you can go and buy Hyper. And the reason why you want to do that is because if there's a thick liquidity pool and say you're a whale or a big time buyer, you have to go through this route, because if you were to just go to a straight Hyper to wrapped Ethereum route, there's a good chance that that liquidity pool is probably going to be something like 10K. So the thickest value between these two tokens, you have to follow this route, ETH, titanX to Hyper. Now, when we start to see that inflation come in, this is where things are going to get interesting, because everyone's going to run to basically this main version 3 pool right here. They're going to take their titanX and then they're going to try to sell it for ETH. That's the idea. You take your profit in Ethereum, because the main liquidity pool between titanX and ETH is going to be the way you get out onto Ethereum, send it to Coinbase, and take profit, yada, yada. But there's a little bit of a hidden horse in this equation. You have titanX and Hyper. So what's going to happen is the titanX price right here. So I'm going to put titanX. The price of this token is going to go down. When this happens, there's going to be an arbitrage opportunity between the Hyper and the titanX pool, which means you can come in, take Hyper, buy it for swap it for titanX, and then basically sell it through this pool as the price of titanX goes down. And basically what it'll do is it'll stabilize the pool so that the price doesn't completely collapse. And so this is something you see with PDI and Atropa, and that's why you have so many of those tokens, is because those liquidity pools are using it as a way to auto balance out and prevent massive sell-offs going on to the future. And so what Jake is mainly trying to do, and he briefly explained this in a few of his live streams, but he's trying to make a thick liquidity pool between titanX to Hyper so that, number one, you have arbitrage opportunities, and basically you have to trade through the titanX token from ETH to titanX to get to Hyper. And then also, number two, when we start to see a big token sell-off, this pool right here is going to present these arbitrage opportunities where essentially if the price of titanX starts to go down, you can basically buy up the token, sell it into this pool, and through buying that up, it's going to basically auto balance out the liquidity pool and stabilize it. So the big thing I'm going to put out there is when we're looking at that one day with the amount of titanX coming out, number one, we're going to have Hyper out. And so that Hyper liquidity pool is going to help stabilize some of that sell pressure. Number two, if we come over here to this chart up here and we take a look at the amount of ETH being minted for miners, it is slowly going up and to the right. There is very well a good chance that one day we could have anywhere between $50 million to $100 million worth of ETH in the buy and burn pool. So by then, when we get into the midst of the bull market, we're going to have a very big buy and burn. And when I mean big, it's going to be big because prices of tokens are going to go up. And so with that big buy and burn, that's also going to be another thing that's going to stabilize the price of titanX when this event happens. So the two big things I'm looking at is the buy and burn and Hyper. So overall, I don't expect there to be anything too crazy. As for price performance, please keep in mind, titanX isn't going to go up forever. And I'm just going to be honest with you. In this bull market, I think it's going to do really, really well. I think at the tail end of the bull market, it might trade sideways a little bit and then slowly, fade off just like the rest of the other cryptocurrencies. But please keep your expectations realistic. And if there's one key takeaway you can get from this live stream, if you're thinking of trying to get anywhere between 100 to a 10,000x, the way you're going to get it is not necessarily through buying, holding the token. It's going to be coming over here to this miner. And through this miner, if you get a big old bag and put it out 280 days, and as long as the price stabilizes or if it goes up, that's where you're going to see your 50 to 100x. The overall price performance, I could definitely see hit 100x. I don't know if it's going to get up into the 1000x range because I don't think that's going to be necessarily realistic. But that's just my overall opinion. So overall, I don't want to say that a Hyper is going to be necessarily like a slam dunk when this period happens. But the thing that I'm going to be looking at is how much Titan ETH are we accumulating through miners, and how thick is that liquidity pool between Hyper and titanX? Because as we get closer to that big event, then I can tell you how it's going to perform. But overall, I'm extremely bullish that we have a really great community coming in, and things are looking really, really good. So let's see if we got any more questions, because I know we probably have 1,000. Oh yeah, we got a lot. So cool. So Martin G, V2 was made to prevent MEV. What does MEV stand for? I can't remember. Malicious actors. I thought this is from Crypto GRFX. So I thought version 1 was basically buying the token as intent, buying and burning the token as intended in the white paper, and then from my understanding, no, I'm sorry, that was version 2, and then version 1 just does a random buy and burn every now and then based off an algorithm. That was my impression, but let me know down in the chat because I wasn't sure. So V1 is inactive. It's like an insurance fund. Okay. Vibra, I think the burn function can be manually operated, so I would crank it up at day 275. I don't know if it's manually operated. I mean, if it is, I might just need to get on and talk with Jake on another live stream about it, because I feel like there's a lot of confusion behind this buy and burn, because I was under a different impression. So Jamie X, version 2 will surpass version 1. I definitely do agree with that. We're seeing more Ethereum come into these miners towards this past weekend. So I definitely see that happen. If we get that buy and burn contract TVL, well, not TVL, but if the overall value of that buy and burn contract gets up to like, the $50 million range, that's when things are gonna get absolutely ballistic. Be mindful. It's already has Jamie. It's burned like 3x the titanX version 2. Yeah, it's like 3x in the titanX and 4x, and V2 is already way bigger than V1. Good stuff. Wait, it already has Jamie. It's burned like 3x titanX version 2. Yeah, it's like 3x titanX and 4x. V2 is already way bigger than version 1. Okay. JMX, yes. I mean, as a growing reserve, I'm on JMX, but yeah, V2 burned tons more than version 1. So cool. Damien, yeah, son, the miner ROI for me is where the magic is. I do max power with 150 to 170% ROI. Typically, turnover is 11 to 15 days. Sell the titanX and repeat the process. Now, I saw a really cool strategy where someone took their titanX, put it liquid, and every time it 2x's, what they'll do is they'll sell the 2x, and they'll sell into Ethereum and then create a 33-day miner, and then take that 33-day miner to 5x your bag, and then from that miner payout, sell half of it, and then rinse and repeat the same process going into the future. So they're basically creating a big snowball effect. So I do think, if you do a short-term miner, your best bet is shooting for somewhere. I would probably do it more than 2 weeks. I would actually do it between that 30 to 40-day window. Would make the most sense because you can still hit a 5x off of your miner as of right now. So how about building casino and titanX including lottery? I mean, that would be a really good idea. I don't know how that's going to be created, but I think if someone can create a really good idea to get people excited, honestly, I would not be surprised if people decide to build like a meme token on top of titanX and try to do something similar to Zen Doge. I know Jake hates meme tokens because he told me on live stream, but how sick would that be if we had like a meme token called like Titan or something, where you just burn titanX for Titan and it just turns into this whole Twitter trend? That would absolutely go crazy. RayOX, what's up? Good. titanX is absolutely killing it. Xenify is creeping up the ranks too. ETH dividends, juicy, good stuff. Nathan, that would be a real world case use on titanX. Good to see it. Good stuff. Let's see. Vibra, titanX going to the firmament. Cool. All right, let's see what else we have. Oh man, we got a lot of comments here. Sorry guys, I'm gonna try to go through as many of these as possible. August 2024 for titanX is like when Hex had its big payday. Yeah, that's a really good point. If I recall, when the big payday happened, I think something happened with the OA address, where a bunch of Hex was staked out into the future. I need to look at that. Bash fee is the same for one miner. Gotcha. I knew you would understand 280. Important part of the question is how much will ETH be worth at that point? Even if titanX drops 50%, but ETH is up 2x from now, you still get money in dollar terms. So when that part of the market comes in, we'll probably see a lot more bigger players put in miners. It's going to be very difficult for retail traders to get in. And I do agree with you. The gas fees are going to be anywhere between $100 to $200. I've even seen it get up to like $250 at one point. I don't understand the GUI system. I'm not smart enough for that, but I just look at it in dollar amounts. And when we get into that part of the market, it's going to be bigger players. It's not going to be that many retail traders. And this could also be beneficial for the titanX inflation going out into the bear market, because if less people are going to be mining, well, I don't know, it's like a catch-22, because I can see more people mining as the price goes up, but if less people are mining, then that means there's going to be less inflation to the future. So this is going to be the interesting game theory behind titanX. Will we see more people mine as we get into higher gas fees behind Ethereum, or will we see less? So that's a real question. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. For titanX, would you rather sell titanX at the top of the bull run or stake 358 days, collect ETH yield for 10 years? So to be honest with you, Ryan, I probably wouldn't stake it all the way out. What I would do is I would take profit, because number one, if you've been in this for a minute, you definitely want to take profit and, get rewarded for all your work doing crypto research and being in crypto during the bear market. So probably not financial advice, but what I would do is I would take 50% profit, keep a 25% bag on the side. I would take 25% of that, stake it out for 3,500 days, and then see if the dividend reward is worth it. If the dividend reward's not worth it, I would just burn it for hyper, keep it in hyper, and then take some sort of profit through hyper. And then that 25% bag, keep it on the sideline in case you miss the top or you see a crazy pump. And once it's been confirmed that the bear market's going down, then sell a little bit of it off. Pesh, what's your strategy once hyper launches? Are you unstaking and going for the burn? So when hyper launches, there's going to be an arbitrage opportunity where you can sell titanX from one pool into another and make a lot of money. My first thing I'm probably going to do, I did a lot of experimental stakes to see how the dividend reward system works out, because I got really confused when we were talking about staking titanX, and the white paper wasn't too clear about it, but now I have understanding. So I have a really few small ones on other wallets that aren't impactful. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to burn my titanX stake and see how much I can make through that arbitrage opportunity and see if it's worth it. And if there's a huge opportunity between hyper, I'm probably going to nuke 50% of my stakes and go straight into hyper right off the bat and take advantage of the new ecosystem, because I think it's going to get really hyped up. And I think that liquidity pool is going to have a massive price appreciation because you have so much titanX getting locked up with hyper. And with those arbitrage bots, it's really going to push it up. And I've seen this happen with other projects before, with PTGC on Pulsechain. And when they launched similar tokens with similar mechanics, keep in mind, hyper is going to be much more advanced. I saw a massive price boom behind all the tokens. So that's what I'm predicting with hyper, is it's going to appreciate very, very quickly. Then also it might have a little bit of a sell-off to stabilize versus the price of titanX. Say, when Joe parries, did he answer you? Yeah, I think so. Believe it or not, there's there's 5 people working behind the verse. There's me and there's my buddy Trent. My buddy Trent, he's the other half of the verse. He's been really hitting up Joe Perry and trying to get him on to talk to us. So I think it'll be cool to talk to him and pick his brain about certain things. And I got a lot of questions for him. So I want to try and get him on before the end of the year. If not, we'll probably shoot for the beginning of 2024. Reddington, what's the biggest risk you see with titanX? So the biggest risk with titanX, number 1, it's going to be security. And then number 2, it's going to be inflation. So number 1, why I say security is because there's a lot of project protocols down the road where when there's always some sort of exploit that no one expects. Jake did a great job. He got 3 audits behind titanX. So the chances of the hack or an exploit happening on titanX are slim to none. But as for the biggest risk, security is always going to be a big thing, and there's always going to be some unforeseeable circumstance. But in my opinion, I think titanX is clearly good on security, especially since we've been out for about a month and a half to 2 months. If there was some sort of exploit, they probably would have hit it by now. And because we haven't heard anything, I think it's safe, and it's going to be a great DApp going into the future. The second one's going to be inflation. And the reason why I say inflation is because we don't truly know what's going to happen on that day 280. We don't know if hyper is going to be able to burn some of that token off the market. We don't know if people are going to be mining like crazy during the middle of the bull market when we have anywhere between $175 and $225 of gas fees. So depending on how that inflation can be controlled for this first year, that's going to be a big risk, because there's very well a chance that, titanX could drop in price if the buy and burn wallet's been smart contract's been exhausted. So outside of that, those are the 2 main things. But to be honest with you, I don't think any of that's going to happen. I don't think titanX is going to have an exploit, and I don't think titanX is going to have a problem getting funds into the buy and burn, because if you guys look, this community started off with 300 people, and now it's sitting at about 7,000, which is absolutely crazy. And to give you an idea of how many people came in, let me do a quick screen share. So if you guys go up here at the top of Do Analytics, there's 7,259 unique users, and then there's 100,000 miners. 100,000 miners, dude. People are doing multiple miners. They're doing different wallets. I'm pretty sure I have like six miners on 6 different wallets because I get so sketch out about people trying to hack my wallet. So I make sure I have like a little bit of everywhere. So I'm pretty sure a lot of the, well, never mind. But the point is, this community is growing very, very quickly. When this hits 70,000 users, imagine how many miners we're going to have. This could be very well past in the millions. So it's definitely really awesome to see this community grow. So what happens if the miners are not profitable in the future? Well, if the miners aren't profitable in the future, people aren't going to use the, well, what do you mean by in the future? Are we talking like 280 days? Or are we talking like 60 days or 30 days? If it's not profitable after you're mining after 280 days, then there's a good chance that nobody's going to want to mine or nobody's going to be using the miners, and then the buy and burn will just kick in and burn up the token. So I don't see that happening. I see that when it comes to profitability, actually, I think this would be a really cool thing. We can talk about miner profitability. So here's another thing I was thinking about while I was working today. Now, the best way to think about profitability for titanX. So let me do this little quick chart real quick. So we'll say profit. So I'm gonna put a $sign right here, and then we'll just say miner time. So how I see the profitability working, it's probably going to work something like a exponential curve, right? And the profitability is going to be mainly based on ETH and the amount of time it takes. So right now, we're sitting at about day 7 is where you're going to be able to get a profit. So basically, right at this line, anywhere below this line in this area right here. So 7 days or less, it's going to be unprofitable, right? And then this goes up all the way to about 280 days. Now, anywhere between 7 to 280 days is going to be profitable. I can definitely see in the future, if the price dips a little bit or whatever, this zone could very well get to like maybe like day like 60, where it's not profitable to mint a miner, and then it just comes across here, so that you can basically reach your initial ROI, and ETH gas fees are going up by then. So the main point I'm trying to get across is if it's not profitable within 7 days, people aren't going to do short-term 7-day mints. If it's not profitable within 60 days, people are not going to mint titanX within 60 days. Even 120 days. People aren't going to mint titanX within 120 days. So the main point I'm trying to get across is, if that's the case, less titanX is going to be minted. And if less titanX is minted, the buy and burn will come in and basically add more value to the ecosystem. So the point I'm trying to get across is that chart's always going to be constantly changing. Day 1, you can mint out a miner on the second day and hit profit. And now that's not the case. So we're at about day 7. So good stuff. Now let's go back to the questions. So CarPro, the Hyper titanX LP will most likely be set up 1 to 2. So Hyper should be approximately be 2x of titanX. Yeah, that's what Jake was saying. All right, all the way in you. Oh, good point, CarPro. First and foremost, Scott, thank you. Awesome stream. All the way in you. Depends if people are still daily buying miners 350 days into the future, doesn't it? So I think you're saying staking 3,500 days, because buying miners, the max would be 280 days. So yeah, I think follow up on the question. It depends on how many people are mining titanX. Pesh, what would anyone go for Hyper if the staking payout is in Hyper versus E for titanX? Unless there is a 2x arbitrage, I don't see a reason to go for Hyper burn. Well, the main idea behind Hyper is that arbitrage opportunity and using that liquidity pool to stabilize the overall price of titanX, and also to burn a crap ton of titanX off the market. That's also the other big thing. But as for the staking payout, I think that if you tie Hyper to titanX, and then titanX goes up in value, Hyper is going to go up in value because the thickest liquidity pool between Hyper and titanX is going to, well, the thickest liquidity pool between Hyper is going to be titanX. So if you have a really thick liquidity pool, if titanX goes up, Hyper is going to go up as well. So if you have all that Hyper being inflated out into the future, I think there's a good chance that there might be a play when it comes for it to be staking. I still want to see the white paper to get a great idea, because I did see that as well. But I think it might have a very similar staking mechanic behind like Hex that we see with Hyper. So I'm really anxious to see it, but I do think the arbitrage is going to be the golden apple behind, you know, the entire ecosystem. So cool. Let's see. That awesome. MEV is miner extracted value, basically bots front running trades. Okay, cool. Miner extracted value. Thank you. I learned something every day. I'll say one thing. I don't know it all, and I'm always down to learn. So if I'm ever wrong about something, please call me out. I absolutely love it. V1 was centralized, V2 is decentralized. Scott Jackson, you mentioned gaming to be launched on top of Titan. So I was just saying, hypothetically, if titanX, well, hypothetically, a game on top of titanX would be cool. I have not heard anything about a game going on top. I think I was just saying that in like a hypothetical sense. Rev community, what do you anticipate after the first 280 days to the price? So here's what's going to happen with the price after the first 280 days. Now, everyone that comes in, they probably did one of two things. They did a max miner going out into the future, and then on top of that max miner, they also did a couple of short terms. So when we hit that 280 days, let me do a let's take a little lookarooski. Hold on, let me pull out. Let's see if I have the document for that, because it'll show like a little bell curve, and let's see, not bell curve. Hold on. I'm gonna get the chart out to show the inflation, because this will make a lot more sense when I show you guys this. Where is it? Okay, that's not it. Yeah, I'm doing a quick screen share. I'm trying to find the chart on the daily. Oh, it's the daily update. That's what it was. Okay, so basically, here's what's going to happen on 280 right here. When we come all the way out, the amount of titanX that's going to be mined is going to be less and less and less. So when we hit that 280-day mark, you're going to slowly start to see the amount of titanX being minted out into the future go down, 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 down. Because if you got in on day one, you're basically making a bunch, and then day two and day three and day four. So you're basically going to see an exponential decrease in titanX going on out into the future. Now, if we go back to the total ETH spent on miners per day, so you can look at the amount of tokens that were minted, but the key to really understanding this inflation thing is based on the miners per day. So everyone was using it on day 1 and 2, and then day 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're not seeing that much titanX being minted out. So I would bet my bottom dollar between day 280 to about, I would say 300, based off of this chart, we might see a little bit of a supply shock, because a majority of the people that got in on day 1 and day 2 made their play, did their picks, and then there on after that, we were starting to see less and less people mine. And then slowly after that, I think it was like 3 weeks after, we're starting to see an uptick in mining as well. So it's probably going to be a decrease in the amount of titanX being mined out into the future. And then it's going to be another steady increase. So I think there's going to be a massive supply shock between day 280 and 300. That's why I predict. Like I said, I could be wrong. Just predictions. I love titanX, all that good stuff. The problem with V1 is in Jake's control, and that was a bit of a concern in the community. Well, I do agree, and you know, it's the same argument with, you know, the Hex OA address. You know, no one's ever said who owns that address, but it has done benevolent actions to protect the price of Hex. And if we didn't have the OA address, Hex wouldn't have done what it's done. So it's very similar mechanics. And then also X1 on top of that. X1 has an OA address where, like the Zen with Jack Levin, X1 has an OA address where they're putting 50% of the token supply into one wallet at the launch of the blockchain. So all these projects are starting to do it. The real question is, will it be benevolent and will there be bad actors? So cool. Any launch pads launching on titanX? Nothing that I heard of. I'm gonna keep looking, but I guarantee you that might be one of the first projects would be a launch pad coming out. Utah, MEV bots were stealing from the BNB. V2 fixed this by using smaller amount of ETH per transaction. Okay, that's cool. That was probably from another live stream. I didn't get a chance to watch the live stream with him, Joe Perry, and who was it? Jake, Joe Perry, and Crypto Kindness, and then I also got watch the Cryptograph and the Jake live stream as well. What is the minimum ETH to use on the miner? Anyone? I believe if we come over here, it will actually tell you on the screen share. So if you come over here to the app titanX calculator, and let's say you want to do one miner, and say you want to do 280 days, the ETH to start one is going to be 0.206, and this basically increases every day. And then yeah, so to start a miner, it's going to be about 0.206, and then if you want to do multiple, it just goes up by that value. So cool. Question answered there. All right, let's see what we got. V1 is the guardian angel for day 280. That would make a lot more sense. Okay, let's see. Sorry, let's see where we go. Explain in money terms, please. What do you want me to explain in money terms? Is it possible to tokenize a titanX miner? Actually, I think it is. We saw that with a hex stake. So the HSI wrap stakes around the hex stake was able to be tokenized. That would actually be a really great project. I think it is possible. I need to double check. But if someone can tokenize titanX miners, that would be a game changer. That would mean everybody would be doing titanX miners in the future. But then how would that work? So you can transfer it, and then I guess you claim them. You take the tokenized asset and then use it to claim titanX, and then it just burns it. I need to think on that one. That's a really cool one. Is titanX a form of mind dominance? Yeah, sure, I guess. If the price for a miner is 450, then 10 is 10%, 1 is 1%. Correct. Okay. Sorry. All right, I'm just gonna go to questions so I can get through this real much faster. Pesh, can you explain the T rank bonus? Do we get percentage of the bonus based on new miners? So the T rank bonus. Let's go over here to the white paper real quick and do a screen share. Now, the T rank bonus is based off of when you decide to mint titanX out into the future. The more T rank, so basically every miner's assigned a rank, and within that rank, it's basically where you're positioned in line. And as people go through the line and basically mint titanX tokens through their miner, that one, you basically earn something called T rank bonus. So the sooner you do it, the more titanX you're going to do. And so the more T rank bonus you have, the more you're going to get, you're going to receive at the end of your mining term. So basically the idea of a T rank bonus, it's very similar to Hex. It's based off of how many T shares you decide to stake out and how long you decide to do it. And it's the same thing with the T rank bonus. The more miners you have, and the longer you decide to mine for, the more T rank you're going to get. And using that T rank bonus, the more titanX you're going to get paid out into the future. So the people who got in on day one are going to get the most. And so basically with the T rank bonus, you're going to receive a percentage of titanX being minted out into the future. And that continues to grow and increase over time as more and more people get behind you. And then also on top of that, there's also a T-share bonus where you can use it for staking, and your T-share bonus determines how much ETH dividends you get through staking payouts. So awesome stuff. All right, cool. So we still got more questions. So 8 million in BNB V2, good stuff. Let's see. V2 is decentralized. V2 is good to go if he bites the dust. Okay. All right. So I guess V2 is decentralized and V1 is there in case something crazy happens. Okay. If we burn for hyper, I don't believe we get hyper instantly, as I think there's an 8-day waiting period. So it does make sense really to burn for hyper as an arbitrage opportunity. Might not be there. That's true. RayOX burning for hyper. Let's see. So Bad Sports, do you think Jake should increase the version 2 ETH cap? No, I don't think so. I think he should keep the cap as is, because when we get closer to day 280, we're going to have a lot of titanX being inflated out into the future. So I think that cap should slowly just build up going on to the future. And through that build up, I think we should... Wait, cap? Are you talking about like when you say cap, are you saying the amount that's being used to burn every day? Or are you saying the amount being stored into the buy and burn contract? Cool. All right, titanX got some. Oh, hey, what's up, Bobby? It's good to see you, man. Always good to see you, my man. Who else? Xenify. Xenify is mooning right now. Yeah, well, I'll do a live stream on Xenify in the future. Tokenized miners. All right, cool. So I got through all the questions. Awesome. Now let's see if I got anything else I want to talk about, because I wrote down some other stuff. But overall, I wanted to talk about, the game theory behind hyper. Oh yeah. So let's talk about the bull market hype. This is also an extremely important concept that I think a lot of you guys will get benefit. So the real question is, when is the titanX peak going to come in? Now, let's see if this comes up. Come on, baby. Bring up the chart. My gosh, my Wi-Fi is terrible right now. Now, taking a look at the price of Bitcoin while this thing loads, the one thing we're going to be asking ourselves is, all right, so when is titanX going to start mooning? Right now, I think Jake and we have a prediction that titanX is, well, not titanX, excuse me. Bitcoin is probably going to moon right around March of April of 2025. And so with that being said, because it's mooning right around that period of time, typically Ethereum does it a month after. And if you guys remember, Hex is going to do the same. So in my opinion, if I draw this out as like a chart right here, so this first line, I'm going to say this is like BTC, right? So the price of BTC is going to come up here, and then it's just going to go down. And then the next one is going to be Ethereum. And then this last one I'll just do is going to be the price of titanX. So basically what I drew out here is this is going to be the BTC top. So here's BTC. Here's ETH. And then this is going to be titanX. So how the game works is when people make profit in BTC, they start going into Ethereum, Solana, Arbitron, and their goal is to use those to make more BTC. And when people get into Ethereum, their goal is to make more Ethereum. So they're going to get into projects like titanX and like Hex and all that stuff. So BTC, I'm predicting to be right around April is going to be the top. And then for the top of Ethereum, this is probably going to be between May to June. So that's about 1 month after. And then the top for titanX, I'm actually predicting this to be right around the June to, I would probably say, July timeframe of 2025. That is my prediction right here. Please keep in mind, this is only a prediction, but I'm doing this based off of what we saw with the Hex chart, because if I come over here and we look at the top of Bitcoin, the second top doesn't count. We're just gonna go with this top right here. So right here we hit April. Now if I come over here to Ethereum, let's see if it'll let me pull it up. So right now Bitcoin's top was right around in April, and if I recall, Ethereum was about here. And while I do that, I'm gonna pull up Hex real quick. Slow. Here, I'm gonna go this route. See if this will make me do it. One sec, Hex. Oh my gosh, I hate my internet, dude. I need to call and curse out my internet provider. They are driving me nuts today, dude. All right, let's pull it up. Hex right here. Come on, baby. I believe in you. All right, cool. So right here we hit the first top was right around May. So April, May, and then if I come back over here to Hex, This one was right around in September. So that was like a little bit after we had that other top. So I'm following this. Basically, what I'm saying is by the time we see the BTC top hit, titanX will probably moon about, I would say, about 3 to 4 months after that top and then go back down. So that is my big prediction behind titanX. So that was the other thing I want to talk to you guys about. And then the last big thing, I want to give you guys some alpha. People are talking about using trading bots. Well, not trading bots, but they're talking about using Uniswap to actually use the buy and burn to pay you out if you decide to essentially sell off your titanX. Now, one thing I've been researching, and I'm going to get a little bit more into it later, but if you come over here to titanX version 3, you can essentially set up a liquidity pool and basically put like 75% in titanX and like 25% in Ethereum. And basically, as the trading pair continues to trade against each other, some of that titanX will be slowly sold off into Ethereum and basically build up your Ethereum trading pair so that you can essentially take profit through titanX without having to sell off the token. And so if you come over here to pools, here, let's see if it'll let me set it up. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Come on. This is my burner wallet that I like to mess around with. So if you come in here, you can come over here and then pair up, I believe, titanX. If it lets me bring it in. No, it's not going to let me bring it in, of course. All right, let's see if it'll let me bring it in. Copy that. Bada bing. Oh, bada bing, bada boom. All right, let's just put this right here. All right, cool. So basically, the point I'm trying to get across is you can set like a price range where it basically lowers the amount of slippage between your liquidity pool. And then also on top of that, what you can do is you can basically put like 70%, 75% titanX and then a very small amount of Ethereum. And so over time, as they start to trade, that pool will start to balance out so that it slowly fills up with Ethereum, and you can use it through basically this version through Uniswap. And it's really, really cool technique. I've seen a lot of people start using it. And I've also seen whales on the basically on the blockchain use it as a way to basically sell off their titanX without crashing the price. So I'll probably do a future live stream on that. I think we're getting to about an hour right now. I answered a bunch of questions and talked a little bit about profit taking strategy and whatnot. So cool. Let's see if we got any last burning questions before I wrap this up. Cool. Got 60 miners. How much ETH is added to the version 2 buy and burn per day? Let's take a look at that real quick. How much ETH? Oh, per day? Oh, 62%. Yeah, 62%. Sorry, I don't know why I fizzled out on that. Cool. So, all right, guys. Well, that is it for the live stream. I'm so sorry for the connection issues. Drove me absolutely crazy. Like I said, I really love titanX. This is a really great community. I'm still learning new stuff behind this protocol. And as you guys have seen in the past, this is blowing up. We went from a community of 300 people to 6,000. And also the other big thing that I'm proud of with titanX was I was the first person to live stream with Jake. If you guys go to my first live stream, I got absolutely vilified for covering this project. And, and to see, how we had 1 week of this huge FUD event and then all these clowns were sitting here acting like I was going to bend the knee to them. And then a couple weeks later, more and more people started jumping on board, and we're starting to even see Hex Maxis on Twitter talk about it. So I really love how this project went to being one of the most hated to now one of the most loved. And I think the community behind this project is awesome. Everyone's super, super smart. I see a lot of really great memes. I see a very cult-like following, which is what you need for these projects. And I'm really excited to continue to cover this project in the future. And I'm planning on trying to do weekly live streams with titanX where I can answer questions like this. We can talk about trading strategies, or I don't know, we can just make fun of people. So whatever works for me. But like I said, guys, that's it for the live stream. If you got any comments or questions, leave them down below. I'll check them in the future. And before I wrap this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn on bell notifications so I keep you guys up to date with the latest, greatest news and information in the space. My name's Khaos Kris. I love every single one of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys.